Quantum mechanics is really strange. In classical physics, if I have a particle in a box, this particle can have a whole range of speeds and there's no particular place in the box where it's most likely to be found. In the world of quantum physics, this is governed by one of my favorite differential equations of all time, Schrodinger's equation. We can use that to solve the wave function for a particle, a quantum particle that's been trapped in a box. We're going to represent the box by this infinite potential well, so there's no potential across here. So inside of the box, we're going to say that U is equal to 0, and just outside of the box, the potential shoots up to infinity. So we can just literally rewrite this equation as minus h bar over 2m. Now that will be the second derivative d of psi of x dx squared is equal to e psi of x. Let's tidy this expression a little bit. So what I'm going to say is I'm just going to move this to one side, and I'm going to say that the second derivative of psi of x with respect to x will be equal to minus 2me divided by h bar squared. So I need a function that when differentiated twice will give me the negative of that function. What immediately springs to mind is a combination of sines and cosines. So let's just guess that psi of x is equal to some constant. Let's say this is the first constant, c1, multiplied by, let's start with cos, so cosine kx, where k is the wave number, plus c2, and c2 is our second constant, multiplied by sine of kx. Okay, well, we have some boundary conditions that we can satisfy in order to work out the values of the constants. So the first boundary condition that I'm going to use is that psi of x is equal to 0 is equal to 0. Well, think about this. So at 0, the whole thing must vanish. So this means that the cos term must disappear. The only way this can happen is if this constant c1 is equal to 0. And now let's apply our second boundary condition, that psi at x is equal to L must also equal to 0. The particle can never be outside of this box. So if that's the case, well, given that this term has already disappeared, we can just literally write that c2 sine of kl is equal to 0. And the only way this can happen if KL is a multiple of pi. So we're just going to take some integers and we can just say literally that KL is equal to n pi, which means that our wave number K will be equal to n pi divided by the length. Now the only thing that we don't know is our constant of integration. Let's find this. And here is our wave function. Now, what does the wave function actually mean? Remember, it is a quantity that if we take the absolute value of the wave function, the amplitude, and then we square this value, and then we sum it up over the region, we're going to find the probability of finding the particle. Now, we can actually normalize the wave function by integrating this probability density function from 0 to L, and we know that the probability of finding the particle within the box, inside of the box, from 0 to L will have to be equal to 1. There's a 100% probability that the particle is going to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this is equal to the integral from 0 to L of psi of x squared, which is going to give me the constant c2 squared. I'm going to use sine of n pi over L x. I'm going to be squaring that dx. Okay, well then I'm going to use just a standard trig identity for sine squared, which is going to equal to a half times 1 minus cosine of double the angle. So this will then be equal to the integral between 0 and L of c2 squared. And then we're going to have a factor of a half take away the cosine of 2n pi x over L, and then we're going to be integrating that with respect to dx, and we have another bracket over here. Now the first part of our integral is fairly straightforward. This part of the integral is actually just going to vanish, because if you think about it, if we were to integrate this, the function will just turn into a sine. Then we're going to have multiples of 2 pi, which will, when evaluated at the boundaries, will just be equal to 0. So this term here will not have any effect on our solution. Remember, this whole expression is equal to 1, so I can just rewrite this over here as 1 is just going to equal to c2, my constant of integration, squared multiplied by the integral of a half with respect to x, which is just going to give me x over 2 between 0 and L, so it's just going to give me L over 2. Okay, so rearranging for my constant of integration, which I've called C2, this will just be equal to 2 over L square rooted. Let's have some fun with this equation. So we know that our solution for psi is telling us that it is proportional to sine of n pi over L multiplied by x. So this tells us that only values of integer values of n are allowed, because that's the only time when the sine function will vanish at L. So let's just have a look at n is equal to 1, for instance, at n is equal to 1. So what will the probability of finding this particle between 0 and L actually look like? Well, remember, the quantity multiplying x is actually our wave number k. So our wave number k in this case will be equal to pi over L. However, remember, we've covered this, our wave number k is actually the amount of wavelengths per radian, so that's just 2 pi over the wavelength. And if we do some cancellations, and essentially if we just rearrange for the wavelength, we find that the wavelength is equal to twice the length. If that's the case, this means that about half of the wavelength, about half of a sine function will be sort of found between 0 and L, which means that if we're to map the probability of finding the particle between 0 and L, it's going to be somewhere above that. The solution to this differential equation is telling us that the world is very weird on a small scale. What do I mean? Classically, if I have a particle in a box, the particle can have any position, it can have any speed, it is no more likely to be found at a given position. In quantum mechanics, the particle trapped within a quantum mechanical box has a much higher probability of being at the center of the box. Additionally, only certain energy levels are allowed, which are to be found via these multiples of n. The particle can never sit still, whereas classically a particle can sit still. So if we were to zoom in and we look at an individual electron, it will never be able to sit still. This probability density function never really reaches 0 unless at the boundary conditions. Okay folks, well, hopefully you've enjoyed this little insight into the world of quantum mechanics. Let me know if you would like to see more of those, and if you're interested in learning more about the fundamentals of what the actual meaning of the wave function is, check out this video, which is going to be right over there. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.